specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the heroes with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by Begrudgingly Benny. Interested in putting something horrific and grotesque on your next piece of merch? Benny is tucked away in the fiery depths of COVID quarantine, blasting the filthiest of old school death metal and drawing hideous creatures that he is waiting for you to adopt. Go over to Instagram and follow at BegrudginglyBenny and contact him if you would like some really weird original art for your band or label. Super professional, highly recommended. So give me the rundown. What was happening the other day?
All right, I'll lay it on you. So basically, we are getting ready this fall to start recording the next record. And so I live in Massachusetts, which is not particularly close to Los Angeles. And two guys Dan and Shiv both live in San Francisco. And so we all meet up in LA and work on music whenever we can or whenever we're scheduled to. And so it's actually been kind of, at first it was like, holy fucking shit when all our tours and everything got canceled, but it sort of, It turned into this kind of like, all right, well, we better write a pretty fucking good record now. We have all this time on our hands. So we're kind of in the midst of that now. Yeah.
Now, is that going to be an LP or an EP?
It's going to be an LP, yeah. We had talked about actually doing an EP after Black Brick because it was just kind of like, let's just kind of keep putting some stuff out. But, we had a whole bunch of touring and stuff around that time when that song came out anyway. So it was kind of like, let's just save it all for another, proper, like, full-length record. So
right. Yeah. Now, are you guys going to be writing more, like, darker stuff or, like, I don't know, like Sunbather stuff?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's without giving it away too much, it has been a bit of both, but it definitely, I think the last record, OCHL, it's more in line with that than the Black Brick single per se, for the most part. But we're definitely not trying to get away from any kind of, the songs kind of lose their impact if it doesn't still have that like dark, heavy side to it. And I think we're kind of sort of figuring out how that writing, what that writing looks like as you start to get older and a little less angsty and pissed at the world and everything, which is part of it,
Right.
Not to say we're not still angsty and pissed, that's definitely part of it.
You gotta be if you're in a metal band.
Exactly.
Dude.
If you're paying attention to like the world, it's like
you gotta be pissed off at something, dude.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way.
So how was the writing and recording process of Ordinary Corrupt Human Love?
So that was a little bit spread out. I mean, that was mostly written around, like, I had just joined the band in the spring or like, early spring of 2017. So we just finished. I was like kind of coming in at the tail end of touring off of New Bermuda, and there was like a couple little like riffs that we were jamming at soundcheck and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was like Carrie had a couple riffs, Shiv had a couple riffs, but a lot of the record was written with us in the room all together, kind of bouncing ideas off each other and stuff. And that's definitely way more of the writing process this time around too. It's almost like no one is really like preparing shit and bringing it in. It's just like I kind of had this idea. It's cool. It's been awesome, man, because it goes both ways. Sometimes it's so sick, especially as a bass player. It's like somebody comes into practice with whatever band I'm playing in, and they have a song ready. It's like, hell yeah, I'll play that song, and then maybe we start to move stuff around or pick it apart or whatever. But the other side of that is like somebody's just kind of playing guitar for a second and it's like, oh, what are you playing? Like, I don't know. It's just a thing. And then that sort of,
it's just a thing,
it's just a thing, man. I don't know. I'm just playing guitar, dude. And it's that sort of will take on a thing and you start to go in that direction as far as you can and figure out if it's a good idea or not. But it's cool.
Right.
Yeah. So
that honestly, that's surprising for me. Like to hear somebody like with the success of that band, like you'd think that it'd be all like, them sitting in a room and just like, in front of a computer recording that amount of material,
Yeah.
It's just so common. nowadays.
Absolutely. And it's funny, man, because we're in a spot like we just, so I used to own a studio with some guys, and now it's just a studio at my house. But I've got this thing going on. So I come from an audio background, and Kerry is just this like he's recently gotten like a pair of monitors, and he got his first interface, and he just like helped him pick out some mics and stuff, or like, a mic basically, and get a little. So in other words, this is like up until this whole tour is canceled, life as we know it has changed. It's time to make music at home. It just wasn't really like a thing, and Shiv has a pretty cool like little home studio setup as well. But yeah, traditionally, and I mean, you look at Sunbather, it's like that was just Kerry and Dan, you know what I mean? Kerry writing riffs and Dan playing drums, and the two of them kind of figuring their thing out. And so I think a lot of it was Kerry writing stuff on his own at home and coming in with ideas. And like I said, this is kind of just sort of like, what do you guys got today? Or like, I have an idea for a verse, but it's not like this is going to happen and that's going to happen. It's going to go on this long arc, and then you're going to hit this heavy thing, and there's a bridge. It's more like, I don't know. Let's just see where this stuff goes. So
now, do you guys get together like every week, or?
It's very hard and virtually financially impossible to do that, at least for me, it being in Massachusetts, and therefore it's like, no, there's no real spontaneous jamming from like, I'll see you next Tuesday and we get together once a week or something. It's like, so like, don't get the wrong idea. Like, we'll come in, okay, we're writing in 3 weeks. I'm going to come in with at least a couple ideas, like little scraps or something like that. But
yeah,
it's
you don't come in with like 2 riffs.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's just kind of, everybody's just sort of bouncing ideas off each other, and at this point, so it's going well though, so far.
Heck yeah. So, was there any challenges that you had to overcome, joining the band?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, calling it a challenge is maybe not totally accurate, but it was a challenge. Just like, I mean, this is the first band I played in that all of a sudden, like, I don't know, hitting a wrong note a time or two in the set was like suddenly, hey, like, don't fucking do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was just always used to playing smaller, medium-sized shows, whatever. We're all having a good time, and
that buzz.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the thing. I was like, oh, all right, so I got to play like an 85-minute set correctly. And the other thing is with the music, it's like, I mean, I come from kind of like punk and then like stoner rock world, so
Right.
I'm used to kind of like fast and loose, man. This is cool. And this is like way more, it's like you might hang on the same bass note for like 22 seconds, and if you don't change at the right time, or you change on the wrong chord, it's one of those things like you almost can't hear it in the mix, but you will absolutely hear it when the bass fucks up. All of a sudden it's like the ground fell out, and I was just kind of like, okay. Like we played like my first 2 shows with the band. It was like 2 nights in a row in San Francisco. So it was like a hometown show for them. Played like a different set each night, and it was like 85 minutes with a couple different songs each night, which I also had never fucking done that before. And it was like,
Right.
Fuck, and I can't really fuck up. All right, well, so, but other than that, I would, a lot of the just playing in bands, small bands, whatever size band stuff applies, even as you kind of like go up and down and all around through the, through the workings of it. But
Exactly. So, what were some things that you learned about like the personalities in the band with joining?
See, that's what I had going for me. Is I first met and worked for the band as their sound engineer in 2014. So I had met them, got a gist of their various strong personalities, and was like, I like these guys. These dudes are fucking intense, but all right. Like, and so
Right.
it's like I had already, we'd already traveled internationally. Had already shared a bunch of hotel rooms with the guys, and sort of like had a rapport. So I in other words, I kind of knew what I was getting into, which is a bit of like, no one's really like bullheaded, but people have, you kind of stick to your guns in this sort of band. And that's the kind of thing where, again, just coming from like, whatever, man, it's all cool sort of attitude. I was like, oh, okay, this is like, you guys have been doing this for a while, and it shows, and therefore the little interpersonal dynamics are interesting.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
but
Yeah, I've always been curious about that because a lot of black metal guys are either like very serious or like they don't take themselves serious at all. Like there's no in between.
yeah, I would almost say George is both. I've seen both. I've seen both out of him, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, it's like we're here. It's the kind of thing. I'll tell you what I didn't realize until I joined a band like this is like, especially on tour, you're going through your day or whatever. It's like literally the only thing that matters is that time that you're on stage. It's like whatever else happens, fine. Whatever else is on your mind, you just set it aside, including that. It's like once you're up here, everyone's attitude kind of ramps up a little bit. I mean, I've had Dan like fucking not throw a drumstick at me, but throw a drumstick about me before, and that was like oh fuck, right, this is like one of my best friends, but when you're up here, it's kind of it's like a different thing. But
it's like when you have a name for yourself, you don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
with writing something like that went viral, like you have to stay. You don't want to be like a fucking one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
I mean?
I think, and exactly. Even if it's not that specific, it's just the kind of thing with that in mind. That's like, dude, like this is all you have to do is play like a really good show. That's your entire day. So like, just fucking pay attention, like,
right.
know. But
exactly. So here we go. What are 3 variables that make a valuable producer?
Whoa, 3 variables that make a valuable producer. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Definitely part of it is like knowing, like being flexible and being reasonable with what you can sort of get out of the band. I think both like sonically and take, performance wise, like coaxing a good take out of somebody is definitely a strong producer quality. Kurt Ballou is a great guy for that. The old like, I think you could do it better. And you're like, fuck, all right, because that felt like as good as I could do. But all right, I'll try one more. So kind of knowing what you can get out of the band is one of the most important things. The second is just being able to communicate and like being able to guide the ship in a constructive way, and especially like these are like, it's music. This is art. People take their parts very personally, and once you start picking stuff apart, moving stuff around, if you're not doing it with the right approach or the right attitude, the person's just gonna kind of be like, yeah, I think my way is better, sort of thing, or some version of that.
Or they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Here's your paycheck.
Yeah, and
cool,
I'm just
man.
gonna play exactly what I was gonna play anyways, And I mean, which the third thing then honestly kind of plays into both of those, but it's just sort of like kind of rolling with the punches and feeling out the vibe for the room, and just being able to interact with people in like a positive way. And another thing is like, I mean, you have to be good. Like Jack Shirley is the kind of guy where it's not usually like, hey man, what do you think about this chord? It's like, I think you want to use this amp. Like he's like a sonic quality kind of guy, like, oh, you want the kick drum to sound like,
like, yeah, you got to have references, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's sort of the vocabulary for being able to, I mean, musicians are not the most, these people are not good at articulating and stuff like that. So having somebody that can translate that is super sick, especially if you don't know that's what you want. You're like, oh, I want the guitar to go, rah, rah, rah. And they're like, oh, a phaser. And you're like, yeah, I guess, at this point in time, we all know that, but it's like maybe at the time, not so much. And then the producer says, oh, let's try something like that. And has taken you into a whole other sort of sonic territory, which is, I think, kind of best case scenario. It's cool when it works that way.
Yeah, no, I feel that totally, because like I remember going to a studio for the first time and like I had like a shitty fucking amp, like it just everything about the session. Like I remember the producer looking at me and being like, all right, dude, so we're gonna set you up here.
Yeah,
and like gave me like a fucking $2,000 amp, and I'm like, all right,
oh shit, sounds like some real guitar now. Okay, yeah.
he's like if you suck, it'll sound good, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean that's and good on him for not being like, oh, you fucking brought that, like, and sort of like you're supposed to take this seriously kind of shit. It's like, oh, you don't have that. Here, let me hook you up with this thing, and you plug into it and go,
Right.
holy fuck, is that what it's supposed to sound like? Sick,
I feel like there's a big difference between like people that you can like work with, and then there's people that you can like, how do I put it? Like people that are, cheap and can get the job done, and then the people that go above and beyond to make you sound good and like don't push it.
And the don't push it part, I think, is it's funny because we're friends with Touche Amore. Like we did a tour with them in the fall, and they were talking about working with Ross Robinson, who's not I've never met this guy, but holy shit, this dude sounds fucking intense. Just like one of those classic producers. Like he's like a Bob Rock yelling, throwing shit and being like, I just don't believe you. I don't believe your solo and stuff like that. And you're like, fuck, man. All right. But the result is, depending on your relationship with the person, it should hopefully end in a good result after going through all that mental abuse, but it's weird.
So is your studio open to the public, or
it
just a self?
It is. And really, like, I had just owned a studio with a couple other guys, and we got the boot, and the guys were a couple years older than me, the boot from our space that we were at. And so we dissolved the business, and I just kind of like built a vocal booth in my basement, and this is just where I mix down here. And so, I freelance at other studios and stuff. I work at God City a little bit, some other places around town, but the idea being like, well, the bands I work with don't always have, let's say, the budget to rent out like a big ass studio. In this way, it's like, it's the old thing. You go and you cut drums and like, good sounding rhythms and everything, and then you can come back here and spend all day on vocals and solos and extra shit and all that kind of fun stuff. So, but I tell you, since quarantine started, it's like it's becoming less and less like I haven't had anybody over here, and I would probably have like a friend or two over, but like it's like I've got my drum kit set up now. Like everything is it's becoming like my little playground more and more and more as the weeks go by.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. Now, what is the name of that studio actually?
It is called the Electric Bunker, and
okay, where's that?
We are in Brighton, which is part of Boston. And boy, I struggled for a better name than that, but at the end of the day, I had to call it something. So
hey, it happens, man. Yeah, this podcast. I woke up. I'm like, that's
like
good
that'll
enough,
do.
Dude.
Yeah. Because
it's like it's better than like John's podcast.
Yeah. And it's funny once you get that part out of the way, you're sort of like, oh shit, now I just gotta like do it now. It sort of already has a personality or something, and it's like,
right. It makes it easier when my fucking artist like sends me like names of like the art. I'm like, all right, that sounds good.
Yeah. That helps. Yeah, like I'm down.
Just give me the names, man. Come on, I'm not a creative person. So here's a question that you could take multiple different ways, but I'm curious on your answer. Okay. How would you define success?
Ooh, this is probably going to be like a very hippie way to define this, but honestly, I think it's up to your own self what you think of, right. And like whether that means setting goals, which is something I've never done, that you just kind of like follow every weird little opportunity, especially as a someone in this business, or whether it's from a tech point of view or a playing point of view, which I've done this move twice now, by the way. I used to do sound for Doom Riders, and then their bass player was leaving, and I was immediately like, can I play bass in your band? Like nobody asked me, you know what I mean? It was like, fuck, what was the question again? Oh, success.
How do you define success?
Man, that's honestly a tricky one. It's a tricky one to quantify. And
you can take it anywhere, man.
I think as long as you're happy with where you're at in life at the end of the day, I think that's it. Realistically, you've succeeded to whatever your own standards are. Which again is a very hippie answer, but that's genuinely my answer to that question.
No, that's cool, man. Like that's the first time I asked it, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna start asking that more, because like for musicians, you never know, dude. Like some people, like they play for fucking money, they want to play at bars, and then there's some people that like literally I was talking to this dude in Haunt. He literally, his goal in life was to write one hit single.
See, that's kind of sick. And again, that's a goal. That's a goal. So I don't know how the fuck to do that, but you can work at it, and
right. And then there's other people that are like, I just want to tour the world, and it's like, fuck. Like music gives people different perspectives.
It does, and I mean, I think it does. It just almost seems greedy if it's like, or sort of not the right angle to be like, I think success is. I mean, honestly, I would say I think success is like opening for Metallica. That's a level of success that would be pretty fucking cool. I don't think you can shake a stick at that. It's like, oh shit, this guy's open for Metallica. That's pretty fucking cool, man.
Right.
But I don't know,
dude. What the hell happened? Code Orange.
Okay, yeah.
I saw this and I was fucking hyped, man. Code Orange, they played when I don't know who like was walking out, but they were like the opener for a wrestler walking on the freaking ring, and I was like, that would be awesome.
Again, that's a measure of success. Like, you guys are WWE band, like that's fucking crazy. Like, they did it live, right? Like they played the song live, and the dude walked. That's fucking crazy, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, fuck, dude. So what's something, like the first thing when you go on stage, like what are you most looking forward to?
Ooh. The first thing is making sure I'm fucking in tune. And you're not like in drop or some shit. And you go, oh, Christ, what do we play at soundcheck? Honestly, like, especially like with this band, I mean, like fucking every single headlining band, but you come out to an intro, so you hear that intro fire up, and you're like, "Oh shit, okay, we got 40 fucking seconds to go," and then like at a certain point, we all, everyone goes out there one at a time or whatever, and then literally, check to make sure we're in tune. But like that first like chunk, first like 30 seconds or something is like, without being too anal retentive or like whatever, it's like, can I hear everything? Like, can I hear the drums? Can I hear what Kerry's playing on the other side of the stage? Like, well,
dude, I think the most nerve-wracking thing about a show is like the first 30 seconds, but like the mix, dude. Like, it's either you're gonna have like a really bad show or a really good show. It happens in that. It really
does. It's at least like, holy shit, am I just gonna have to like move this monitor out of the way with my foot, like, and then just go for it? Because again, I'm playing bass, it's fine, I can get away without having one. But it's like, that's it. And then I mean, it quickly is like, you play in the first couple notes, you're like, the lights come up, oh fuck, there are people here, sick, okay, this is good.
Exactly. You're like thinking about fucking 1,000 things, man.
Yeah.
So here's something good for you. What do you look for when comparing like an exceptional set versus a passable set?
This is a little bit self-indulgent, but for me, and as per our earlier part of this conversation, literally, and you can't be looking at this when you're 92% of the way through the set, but to play a perfect set,
It never happens.
Dude, every like a couple times a tour it will. And then the next night, inevitably, I fucking ruin like Dreamhouse or something really obvious. But it's like, dude, because that feeling, it's like, holy shit. I did it. I focused for 85 minutes or whatever the hell. And it's not even like playing all the notes correctly. It's like, oh, I did a little fill there that I wasn't planning on doing, but it went really well. That was cool. Or, just it's all that little shit. Like, and it sounded good, and you played well. Which is, it'd be cool if my answer was like, how much people enjoyed it, because that's definitely high up on the list. But it's personal. For me, the measure is like, did you play it like literally as good as you can? And it's a really bizarre feeling when you're like, actually, I physically could not do any better than that. That was it. Which is again where you just go and fuck it up the next night. But for that brief moment, you're like, hell yeah, dude, that was sick.
And then you get in the fucking van. You're like, oh shit, I gotta.
Exactly. Can't we just just like play last night's show tomorrow? It was great. Yeah.
I'm sick, man. I can't make it next
roll
show.
My tracks. It'll be fine.
So what keeps you constantly motivated on your goals, and what are some?
Wow. I mean, the biggest thing is just just to keep it going, you know what I mean? Like, we're at this point, like, it all seems to be going well, everyone's like getting along super good in the band, like the band itself interpersonally and I think professionally is kind of at the best spot more or less than we've been at. And you just see stuff like that,
Right.
especially from somebody like my point of view, where I've only been here for a few years. It's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. How the hell do we keep doing this? You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like this, this constant, like, hopefully you're not just like grasping at loose straws. Maybe I can, I don't know, somehow do something, but it's like,
Pull out a
yeah, exactly. But it's just this kind of constant, like, man, this is going really well. How do we keep this going? Especially once you get to the end of an album cycle, and all of a sudden it's like you've done the US 3 times, you've done Europe 3 times, and now we're playing South Korea and China. Like, we did that Asia tour in the fall, and I was like, dude, this is out of control. Like, Shanghai, like I didn't ever think I'd go to these places,
Dude. Man, I missed you guys. The Toronto date, the upcoming one.
Yeah.
I was gonna travel from Buffalo over the border to go to that show, and then fucking shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
But
that's right. Yeah, because you're not too far if you're in Buffalo. That dude, and I think it was at the Opera House again. I have to imagine. Awesome.
Yep.
My God.
Yep.
Been there so many. I've mixed so many bands in there. We've now played there so many times. It's awesome. But dude, I tell you, I don't suppose you were at our was it the last show or the one?
I haven't went to any of your shows, dude. That would have been my first.
Well, the only reason I brought that up is, dude, we a couple tours ago, just for some past silly shenanigans, from when Kerry was 16, we couldn't get into Canada this last time. He couldn't, so we had to play 2 fucking shows without him. And one of them was at the Opera House, and I fucking just like train wrecked a song at Dreamhouse. Go figure. How is that even possible? But dude, I was like standing on the barricade, and I kind of like fell in between the barricade and the stage, and George took my bass and was just hitting like open notes at the end of the song, and I like got on stage and then just like sprinted and did the like mega stage dive crowd surf thing, and it was a real highlight. But
how many drumsticks did you get hit?
That's the show that I'm talking about. Yeah, he just bounced one off the ground, and I don't blame him. It was like, dude, trying to hold that together as a 4-piece with just one guitar. And our sound guy, Billy, was playing guitar for Dreamhouse. I forgot about that. What a fucking shit show, dude. Man. That's all right. So,
it happens.
Our next Toronto show will be better than that, but... Anyways, it's funny.
What now? Are you gonna be that tour? Are you gonna redo the same?
Yeah, that's the idea. Is that the whole thing and the tour itself, which was like this 10 years since the 10 years of the demo being recorded, the anniversary of that. So we kind of had some old songs in the set, some stuff we don't really play a lot, some stuff that I haven't played with the band before, which was sick. And we got that all rehearsed and ready to go. And then it was like, well. But yeah, to answer your question, we're just pushing the whole thing back, and we're just going to do it all,
Yo, push that fucking band to Rochester, man. I mean, my hometown is Buffalo, but I'm right now in Buffalo, but I live in Rochester. So if you can get to Rochester,
what is that?
man,
I swear there's a
Montage.
Bug jar, right. Yeah.
Dude, you'll sell out in a fucking
that would be
like
a sick show at the Bug Jar. That's right. I've been in there.
Yo, Oz. Yeah. I'll fucking link you them. If you can get a show there, man.
I'll see what I can do. They don't listen to me that much, but I'll see what I can do.
The fucking bass player, they're like, son of a bitch, man. It's all right. Hey, if there was no bass, it's a fucking band with
it would just be not as heavy, But man, I'm just remembering this one time. I won't dwell on it too long. But the last time I was in Rochester, this was years ago. I was doing sound for a band called Revocation. We might have had Ramming Speed on that too. But dude, I just remember like we met up with some locals after the show, and there's like these like tunnels under the ground, like subterranean weird layer kind of near the bug jar that goes like pretty fucking far. It was like dude, it was tight.
Oz.
We're shooting off fireworks under there and stuff. There's like random homeless people, and then you look up and it's just like 2 stories above you is like a sewer grate and cars driving over it. I was like, what the fuck? So I'll look around. I'll send you.
Hey, bro, can I bump a cigarette? Dude, you will not leave Rochester without one weird story.
Yeah, I like that though. I like the
guarantee
vibe. It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, a bug jar. So I noticed you were playing I don't know how to pronounce it.
Nice.
Dunable? Dunable.
No, it's a Dunable. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay, because I was going to get what the hell is it?
Yeah.
A Yeti
Cool.
charcoal.
Okay.
$2,000. Give me some reasons why I should or shouldn't buy that guitar.
Because I can give you reasons for both, even though I love Sasha, and it is way more to me. And man, the Yeti is such a fucking cool guitar. That's what that bass is. It's the same body style. And Shiv has the Yeti guitar too, which I really like that thing. It's fucking cool. The first thing and the only con at all, the only negative thing is the price, but it's a custom made boutique instrument. Like, what the fuck do you want? Like, that's what it costs, $2,000. You know what I mean? But to me, I was a little like, because he had made, like, he had some of his first guitars were stuff he had made for Deafheaven. So needless to say, when I joined the band, I was like, yo, what's up, dude? Can we like work out a deal or something? Which is honestly part of why I play that thing. But dude, when I first got that thing, I was like, holy shit, like this is, and I took it to, my guitar tech guy that sets up my Fenders and stuff, and his thought was the same as my thought, which was like, this is a fucking like really, really, really well made instrument. Like, this is like a top quality musical instrument. And like a lot of those guys, like, it's easy enough to just get, I mean, I say this like I don't really know, but the gist I get is it's not the hardest thing in the world to try to like make your own guitar company and cut a bunch of corners and just sort of, and then you're just selling like a logo or something. But with Sasha's stuff, it's like, man, and the more I play that bass, it's starting to feel like an old piece of furniture. It's like walnut and stuff. It's fucking great, man.
Yeah, well, I think the coolest thing about it is like the finish, man. Like, I saw it was some Doom band at the Bug Jar, and I remember looking at that black one, the Yeti, and being like, "Holy shit!" Like,
what is that thing?
Is that thing? And then I look up the price. I'm like, "Oh, dude."
Exactly. That's kind of the thing. But I mean,
What type of humbuckers are
so
in those?
That's the other thing is I think it's like $2,000 or something like that for the base model or whatever, but you get to choose your pickups, and he winds or has somebody wind their own like Dunnable humbuckers and stuff, and they even make a P90. But so even that's all, it's like boutique magnets and high quality copper and stuff. But what they have is like just different, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 different degrees of output on his humbuckers. And one of them is like twice as hot as a normal humbucker. It's like psychotic, So, and that's the kind of thing you can do. You're like, oh shit, okay, it costs this much, but I sort of have all these different options, and we could do like cool block inlays, and maybe I can do like a coil tap or some shit if I wanted there, or like he started doing like guitars with tremolos and stuff, and but the support. I think because all of his stuff is custom. He'd like just started making those, and they are a bit cheaper. I mean, like a little bit, but those sort of he does have kind of like a stock model of each now, and they have that awesome, nice brown like stain finish and stuff. But yeah, he's just I don't know. He's just a good dude who really like is really into it and seems to be about it for the right reasons, which is cool. And every time,
Dude, as long as they're not P90s, I'll be fucking happy.
And it's fun. Yeah. That's a very particular pickup, and I don't even know what it's for. I haven't found a use for those yet, but yeah.
No, it's just noisy as fuck, man.
Yeah.
But
for So buy
So
it.
buy it.
I was
So
gonna
in
say, for what it's
conclusion,
worth,
buy
I
it.
really can't say enough good things about it. Not just because the guy's my friend, but like the first time I went there, I didn't know him all that well. I mean, I had done, I think I did monitors for